Hey everyone, welcome to Morethanmeetstheseguys. This podcast is a journey through Transformers from the beginning of the anime series, with two old friends coming at it from different perspectives. Together we will go episode by episode with the occasional extra to look at how the show holds up or if it's a trap of nostalgia. We'll be looking at all things involved in the episode, whether there were real world factors that crept in the writing or the episode was typical afternoon cartoon fodder. I'm Evan, I'm a lifelong fan who's familiar with all aspects of the franchise, while Ed here is familiar with Transformers, but there's really nothing he got into. How you doing, man?
I am doing well. Hey, the other day I was talking about how I was basically done watching professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And I basically am done with watching professional wrestling for at least for a while. I may come back to it, but who knows. But so the other day, you sent me a picture of some wine called Luchador wine. Like,
Yes.
Luchador is the Spanish or the Spanish for well, fighter, but it's what they call wrestlers in Mexico.
Yeah.
And I love Mexican. I think Mexican wrestling is the weirdest and coolest like like version of wrestling.
Hmm.
Like it's so bizarre and it looks different and it just is different than most anything else you'll see. I mean, Japanese wrestling's my favorite, but
Yeah.
like there's just something really weird and cool about all these dudes in masks with these giant, like capes and all this stuff and doing all these crazy flips and moves and stuff. But did you know that in Mexico, in like there's two major like federations in Mexico. There's the CMLL, which is the oldest existing wrestling organization in the world.
Oh.
Yeah, they've been around since like 1912 or something like that.
Mhm.
Um, but there's also a triple A is there or a triple A, I guess is how you're supposed to say it. But
Triple A.
they have a championship. They
Yeah.
have the triple A Marvel championship where they have a whole subset of wrestlers that wear like Mexican wrestling version costumes of Marvel superheroes. I think I'm pretty sure that it's legit and they have like a licensing deal in place.
Really? Oh, I gotta
And
check
so
that out.
they have their own belt for these superheroes.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's like Hombre Araña is like the current champion. He's like Mexican Spider-Man.
Well, it makes sense actually. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
My wife and I were looking at like really bad horror movies recently, and she was perplexed by the idea that there were luchador kind of almost like superheroes in these monster movies in Mexico.
Oh, and like the older
Yeah.
ones, like the all the Santo and Blue Demon
Yes. Yes.
movies. Yeah,
She was trying to figure out why. It's like a cultural thing. It's
yeah,
the Mexican luchadors are like huge. They're just like they are essentially the superheroes.
yeah. Basically, because I mean they were basically like live action superheroes for a
Yeah,
long
yeah.
time. And
Wear blue satin capes and stuff.
yeah, like Santo made something like 30 movies or something like that, like some
Yeah.
ridiculous amount of movies, and it was basically all the same thing, where it was just he was like a dude that ended up like he's a wrestler that ended up fighting like a mummy
Well, I mean,
or
like
something like.
look at the things we had paired up with mummies and Frankenstein. We it's essentially had like
Abbott and Costello.
Abbott and Costello. Yeah, exactly.
I'll
Laurel and
take
Hardy.
Santo over that any day of the
Oh
week.
yeah, no joke, man. Those are pretty awful. But yeah, so it's kind of neat. It's a whole cultural thing. I gotta check out this Marvel League. It sounds actually kind
Oh
of great.
yeah. But there was Los Tortugas for a long
Mhm.
time down there that were these unlicensed four Ninja Turtle guys that would they would wrestle in like 4-on-4 matches only, and that was real. It was just blatant. I mean, these dudes were like head to toe green with like the different colored like headbands and all this stuff.
That's actually a really cool segue into the writer of this week's episode because he was one of the longest running writers on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show that came out in the early 90s.
It was late 80s, early
Late
90s. I
80s,
think it
yeah,
came out
late
in
80s, early 90s,
88
yeah.
or something. Yeah,
And it's kind of cool. He actually David Wise, we've talked about it before. He
yeah.
recycled a lot of the episodes he wrote for Transformers into the Ninja Turtles. There's like Attack of the Autobots got recycled for like Slash, the evil turtle from Dimension X. Yeah, things like that. There was like all these things. Now this is actually one he did not recycle, so it's kind of cool in that way. This is was more of a like one off thing.
Well,
And I
this one's kind of it's like specific to Transformers. I mean, it's a pretty
yeah,
like lore integrated episode. So.
and it's kind of cool because I like the fact that we went through the drudgery of the worst of season two, got through it, and now this is like where I feel it starts going back up again. So it's yeah. Then this is actually one of those episodes I was like, oh, come on, Ed, just hang on, just please hang on,
Yeah,
get through this.
I was on a cliff after that last one.
Yeah, yeah, that
I was
was
like,
a
what am I doing with my life? I can't spend any more time watching this show, man. I'm
yeah,
done. I'm
yeah.
gonna go
No,
back in.
I say no blame there at all. But yeah, man, we get finally to the key to Vector Sigma, and the thing with the key to Vector Sigma, it shows up in lore, for years and goes through the sequel to Beast Wars, which is Beast Machines. It shows up quite a bit, and
See, that was a question that I had. As yeah, how is this going to come up again? Because it seems like it's pretty deep. Like creationist lore for
yeah.
Transformers.
Oh, it totally is. And this is it comes up honestly, it comes up this major part of the Beast Machine show, which whether you liked it or not, I'm not a huge fan of it. But
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
yeah, you're okay. That's fine. Uh, I it shows up a lot. The key to Vector Sigma is like almost like a trope later on because it becomes such a long running thing. And I mean, I think even my Masterpiece Megatron has a little key to Vector Sigma. You can have
Oh,
them
that's
hold it.
cool.
Yeah, I kept it in the box because there's no way hell that's not getting lost. Because it's like this big. Anyway, so yeah, man, this is kind of cool because it, like you said, it's building lore and it's actually more consequential to have this. And honestly, it brings in one of my favorite teams. So let's,
Well, I'm going to get to that in a minute,
yeah.
but we start this one off with so we got some guys driving some rigs. And these guys are driving rigs, but they're wearing like it's like they're co-workers of Spike and Sparkplug. They're wearing yellow hard hats.
I was gonna say though, man, I don't know. I don't know if they're the same part of the same union. They're dressed different.
They're
They,
dressed a little different, but they got the hard hats on. But
yeah.
keep the like I want you to keep the hard hat in mind.
Oh yeah.
Just put it in the back of your mind for now.
I'm feeling what you're getting to.
Because
Okay.
that's gonna like boomerang here in a little bit.
Yeah.
That's all right. So but Optimus Prime is looking, dude. He's looking fly, man. He's stepping into the club, but he's flanked by two 80ZXs, and I can't imagine if I was gonna drive somewhere and I had two of the same car like flanking me. I can't imagine a cooler car than two 80ZX to do it, especially in 1986.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool cars in this episode, honestly. So
There are. He's got Smokescreen
yep,
and
and Prowl. Yeah.
Prowl. Yeah, I'm learning the names, dude. I
No,
don't know.
look at you.
Took me 2 seasons, but I'm
Look, you do so well.
not a few old names. Um, this was cool. I literally had an ad 1 minute into this episode. Like it
Was
was
it
1 minute and 6 seconds in, and I had an ad on YouTube, man. It's becoming
nice.
useful. I'm gonna have to either pay for YouTube Premium or just steal it from somewhere because I can't put up with these ads anymore.
What it was at least targeted?
Well, that one wasn't, but in my notes I have notes for more
Oh, by all means.
that are extremely targeted and very funny. So wait till we get to
Hmm.
those. So
Okay, you got
uh
it. So yeah, man, they're transporting a super fuel, new super fuel.
super fuel. So okay, this is cool. We're back to our roots.
Yeah.
I know I said a while back that I mean I think there was at one point I was like, look, if any episode from now on deals with the Decepticons stealing a new power supply, then I'm instantly docking it points at the end. I'm not doing that this time
Yeah.
because I'm excited that we're back to we're back to like this is like season one roots. I was like, I'm cool. This is all right. I'm after seeing a lot of like garbage lately. I'm real excited about seeing them steal an experimental new fuel. This
Yeah,
is
and oh man, Megatron has like he gets to scrub the Coneheads. Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp are like nowhere in this, but here comes like Dirge, Ramjet, and Thrust, and they're idiots. They're real bad.
these guys are the worst flyers. They just like they just crash into mountains and
Yeah.
tunnels. These guys are awful.
Well, it's weird enough. Like they're flying and like Thrust and Dirge crash, and like oddly enough, Ramjet's the only one who makes it to the tunnel. He's the only one who like doesn't crash until like later. But
But he crashes in the next one though. He
yeah.
crashes again.
So
So it's like, yeah. Yeah, but yeah, they're terrible. They're all three terrible. They really needed. I mean, like Skywarp is good. He's good. He's good at his job.
Garb's
He's
an
really good
idiot
at it.
too. He's better at this job.
Yeah.
So the Megatron, like he loves this description of the Autobots, this episode, motorized morons.
Motorized morons. I liked it. I liked it. So Optimus Prime and the and Prowl and Smokescreen, they get through a tunnel and like Rumble is mad. He's like, we can't just drive after him.
Yeah.
I'm like, brother, you can fly.
Yeah, no joke.
Like
We
you
can't,
can fly through the. He's small and he can fly through the tunnel.
he's like, we can't exactly take him on the roads. No, you can fly over the roads.
You're better than that. You're better than them. You're the
You can
next phase of warfare. You rule the skies.
drop a
And you can
people's
run. You can just
elbow
run.
on top of it, man. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, Megatron, like he shows up on the other side of this tunnel and he's like, "This is face off. I'll blow up the super fuel." And Optimus Prime is pulling every ounce of the Duke. You
Yeah,
won't do
yeah, he
that.
really was. He really was.
You're gonna blow us up too, Megatron.
So I had in my notes here, I had, aren't there car Decepticons at some point that come in called like the Crashicons or something like that? And like literally like a minute and a half later, that entire line is just invalidated. So
Yeah,
yeah, I felt like
the
I felt like I had
Crashicons.
to include what an idiot I was.
I like the Crashicons. I mean, they essentially are. Uh,
Yeah,
okay, so
Either the Crashicons. Yeah, that's the first thing that came to my mind. What are they called, the Crashicons?
the
Uh,
no, there's the whole thing like this standoff just is bad. You know, Megatron's not gonna do it. And like Smokescreen guy does this whole like
he
get
just
burning
comes in
oil,
like
smoke around him, and they all shoot
he just
Megatron. It's like done. All right,
yeah, he's like, I guess I lost, and yeah, he's done. So
but
Rumble goes to a racetrack.
oh, this is the best.
I'm always very excited about there's a racetrack in these episodes. This is very cool. So
Oh man,
he grabs the driver and just like yanks him out, but he jumps on this like Formula One car,
it looks like
and
a
he looks
go
like,
kart.
dude, he looks like when when
Oh
like an adult is riding in like a kid's Power Wheel, like
yeah,
the little Jeep or whatever.
man. There's this dude that I pass him every so often. He's a big dude and he's riding one of those little mini motorcycles, those little battery power, those tiny
Oh
ones.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Little
Yeah,
pit bike things,
he
yeah.
looks like. Did you ever see in the Guinness Book of World Records the twins, the big guys who rode their little motorcycles?
Yeah, the McGinn. I think they're called the McGinnis twins. They were wrestlers. Speaking of wrestlers,
No
they
way.
they
Okay.
wrestled. Yeah, and
Well, that's what this like that dude looks like this on his tiny little motorbike, and that's what Rumble looks like on this car. It's fantastic. I love it.
oh, that's
It's
funny.
like one
Yeah,
of
those
my
dudes
favorite Rumble
apparently
scenes.
were the McGuire twins. The McGuire
Oh,
twins.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so apparently those dudes were like super nice guys. They were like in like real for like I've like heard interviews about them before where like when they got into wrestling, like everybody hated them because they were so naive and so nice, and
Oh,
they would like prank those guys so bad that they eventually just quit wrestling because
that's
they
too
were
bad.
like, dude, I can't. Like
Yeah.
it was like bad for their mental health apparently.
That's too
Um
bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
which
Well,
that's
yeah. Well. And then like, dude, why are these bank robbers using a Porsche?
why was he wearing the construction helmet? He
Thank
had the
you.
construction.
Thank you.
That's what I was saying. Put a pin in the construction helmet because he had it on.
And that's not okay. Maybe this is all. Maybe those guys got laid off when the whole thing happened with super fuel, and they had to turn to crime.
But I wouldn't leave the hat on. It's like like when I quit Subway, I didn't like keep wearing a Subway visor.
Why not?
I want to wear a Subway visor. I don't know.
Yeah, man. So these bank robbers are driving it in like this maroon Porsche. Why?
Mhm.
But and they're like,
The fastest way to get away, dude. But like literally, like everybody is wearing these hats. Like there's guys like in a rig, and they're wearing they're wearing the hard hats, and like
yeah,
everybody has them on. It was like I guess it was one of those deals where like when they were animating it, like whoever was animating it was like, I guess everybody in America just wears these yellow hats all the time. It must be the style, and
unless you're in the military, then you wear other hats.
wear another hat. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Which that comes later. So yeah, they get all these cars into the Decepticon base, and Megatron he starts like chopping them up. It's
Dude,
like
he's
that episode
cutting.
with Trax and like they're doing the chop shop with
Yeah,
the
and he's like,
Decepticons.
dude, he's cutting doors off. He cut one of it. He cut there's like a Lamborghini that he cut in half.
Yeah, and then he
You just
puts like
sliced
a
it in half.
metal
But
donut looking thing in the back of it. Just okay, it's fixed now.
talk about targeted ads though. I got an
Oh,
ad right in the middle of him working on it. It breaks for a commercial, and I get an ad for Harbor Freight. And I'm like, it's probably the same quality tools that Megatron's using.
definitely. I'd like to go to Harbor Freight and see if they have a golden remote control like he has.
Did
I
you ever
think,
have a remote control car when you were a kid?
yeah,
You
yeah.
ever have a
They kind
Nyko?
of stunk when I was
Tyco? Did you have a Tyco?
yeah, yeah. Like they kind of sunk when I was a kid though, because they use like D batteries and this thing's lasted for 5 minutes.
They were pretty awful. I had one, and yeah, literally it was like it was 5 minutes, and my dad was like something must be wrong with it. Let's take it back. And they were like, oh no, that's normal. You need to get these batteries. So like
Yeah,
after we spent like all this money on a remote control car, we had to spend equally as much on these rechargeable batteries. It was real
yeah.
bad. My best friend is a massive RC car guy though. He has tons of them. He has
Oh,
7 or 8 of these things or whatever. And he was like, "Oh man, you should get one, and we can race. We can race." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And he's like, "Yeah, man, you get this one." So he showed me all these ones, and there's one that I was like really into. It's a yellow van called the Lunchbox. It's literally called Vanessa's Lunchbox. I'm like, I want that. That is super cool. And so but it comes like in a kit where like you get it, then you like build it. It comes with all the tools and you
yeah,
build
yeah,
it. And I'm like,
yeah.
oh God, this is amazing. I get to like build models and race this RC car. This is really cool. So we have basically like one shop in yeah, we have like one shop in town that would carry that kind of stuff. When I was looking for this thing,
Mhm.
I go in and I was like, hey, do you guys have this thing called the Tamiya lunchbox? And this kid behind the counter was so condescending about the way that I said the word Tamiya. Tamiya is Japanese word. Tamiya.
Mhm.
He's like, oh, you mean Tamaya? And I thought I was gonna slap this kid. I was so mad I'm like, dude, you know what I'm talking about? Just do you have this thing or not? He's like, we don't carry those because you have to build them. I was like, yeah, I
What?
was like, yeah, dude, I have never, I don't think I've ever been condescended that hard
I
by
don't.
by a retail worker in my entire life. I was so mad. And I was like, I'll just order this thing on Amazon, dude. Never mind. Like, don't waste your time, buddy. So like, um, and
So
that store's out of business now, and I'm real happy about
is that
that.
the Hobby Town?
Yeah, it was Hobby Town. It was Hobby Town. I
Yep.
hated them. God, I hated them. They were so awful. They always thought that
Dude,
they always thought I was stealing in there and would follow me around. I'm 5 feet from the register. You don't have to stand right next to me while I'm looking at hobby knives or razor blades or paint.
so I had to laugh at you, man, real quick. You just because when you lean back, kind of saw something like you wouldn't wear your subway visor, but man, look at what you're wearing. Look at the shirt you're wearing.
Oh, I am wearing a bonefish. I'm wearing a bonefish shirt. Yeah, you're right.
Anyways, man, yeah,
Yeah,
I knew a guy.
yeah, listeners. I waited tables at Bonefish for a few years before I do my nerd job that I have now.
You had a few places back in the day, but the God. So I know a dude who was so snooty about the cars. Like he would do the ones that you actually had to have like a little and it's like a fuel
Oh,
injection like little motor thing.
yeah,
And
man,
it's like,
yeah.
oh yeah, man, if you really want to be into building things, and I wasn't. He's like, you need to do this, and you get this kit and this kit. And like I started adding things up. I'm like, no, I'm not spending
I
that.
could buy a car for what you paid for that
Dude,
thing. Like,
I got Transformers, man. I'm not buying that. I got enough in this. But yeah, it's a huge subculture. So
mhm.
yeah, not even getting not put my toes in that one.
I don't know. It'd be cool. I mean, I have
Yeah,
interest in it, but it like I would need somebody to like, hey, let's go to the store and pick this stuff out. But
yeah.
like, so why haven't the Decepticons just been cranking out new Transformers the whole time? If they can just do this and make like remote control Transformers, like why they should have done this a long time ago.
Well, they kind of did. I mean, they had those like drones on that like the one episode with what was it like? Was it Make Tracks? No, it was when they went to the chop shop. They basically had a remote control for all those drones.
Yeah.
But you
You're
know, they were kind of crappy. But though honestly, I almost feel like it like pushed Megatron to a point. He's like, all right, I'm done. I'm so over this crap. We got to get cars. We need cars, and we're gonna make these cars the coolest cars. We're gonna have like automatic force fields. anti-grav abilities.
Automatic force. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is
Dude, like,
cool.
what? Why
So
doesn't anyone else have this?
uh, upgrade your own. Upgrade your dudes first.
Yeah, I guess so, man.
So they're going to Vector Sigma.
Uh-huh.
And so I had questions about Vector Sigma. I think we answered those earlier
Well,
on.
yeah.
But see, the thing is that
Uh-huh.
so they take the space bridge. So Megatron gets his gang together and they go on the space bridge and they go and they meet up with Shockwave.
Yeah.
And Shockwave's like, by the way, you can't get there without the key. And so like Megatron's mad. He's rightfully angry because it's like that should have been factored in when I'm sure he called Shockwave up and said, "Hey, turn on the space bridge. I'm coming to go see uh Vector Sigma."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Oh," and he should have been like, "Oh, okay, Megatron, that's cool, but hey,
When you
we gotta
get
get the
here,
key first." Yeah,
you
so
gotta
it's
run an
like,
errand.
yeah,
But yeah,
it's
so
like you get all the way to the you get all the way to the pizza place, and they tell you they're out of pepperoni, and you're like, "Why didn't you tell me that when I was on the way when I called it in?"
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
I
come
hate
on,
that
come
so
on.
much. Like, I ordered. Okay, it's not at all relevant, but like Friday night, I like I'm gonna order some sandwiches for like no, it's Saturday night. Order some sandwiches from Publix for like the kids and stuff. Man,
Delicious,
this is cool. They're really good sandwiches.
delicious sandwiches. If you
Yeah.
live up north, I feel sorry for you that you don't
Oh,
have
geez,
you don't have the
awesome.
sandwich
So
or out west
I
wherever
get
you
them.
are.
Yeah. So I get a couple ordered. I go there and I'm like, I'm shopping for a few things while I'm in there. And the guy calls me from the store. I'm in the store. Calls me, says, "Hey, yeah, this is like 30 minutes later. Hey, I hate to tell you this, but we ran out of bread earlier and we didn't set aside like, oh, okay. I guess I'll just leave the store now and go somewhere else." He's like, "Well, I'm really sorry, buddy." I'm like, "Okay, cool, man. No problem." You would have been cool if he had just like called me like right when I ordered, like, "Oh, dude, you might want to order this somewhere else because I had to go to one of the other stores."
Yeah.
It was like I was in there. It was half an hour later. I'm like, "Come on, dude." I
Do you
mean,
have another Publix you can go to?
there's three of them in town, so yeah.
There's three.
I,
Yeah, I have three within driving distance of me
yeah,
that are like equally like equidistant. And so
kind of the
but yeah.
same. Yeah, I was like, man, come on. It's same kind of thing here.
Yeah,
Like,
that's Bush League, man. So,
yeah,
yeah.
well, yeah, all the college kids are back, and oh my god, yeah. Thank God for
so
that because of the business I'm in. But
so Optimus Prime calls Omega Supreme and
space taxi, we gotta go.
so oh my god. So you a big fan of the People Mover?
I know exactly what you're talking
You like the
about.
People Mover at Disney
Yeah, I
World?
did get, but except when the people mover, I walk, so it moves faster.
Yeah, yeah. You like the People Mover at the airport? You ever fly out of Atlanta? You don't get on the People Mover there?
Man, if I ever get on the
I
people mover,
love the People Mover.
oh,
I'm a massive fan. I'll tell you who else is a fan are the Autobots because they just stood on the People Mover to get
they
onto.
do
They just
exactly what I
stood
hate.
in single file line, just standing there. I'm like, somebody was, one whoever's at the back was like Ironhide, will you please walk? Like, just walk.
Yeah, dude. Whenever I go,
It was probably Hoist holding them up.
probably it's terrible. But dude, whenever I'm at like people mover at the especially the Atlanta airport, and I'm seeing that thing, I'm like, oh, dude, I am going to look like a bionic man.
Oh yeah,
I feel so good. And that one old person's like at the end of
get
it,
to
like,
the
come
right.
on.
Get to the right. Oh my god.
Anyways,
so, dude, so the Decepticons are they go and find Alpha Trion. Like I'm glad this guy's back. I like this dude. He's very cool. I'm glad he's
like
back.
great facial hair.
He does have robot facial hair. He's cool, but he's also hard as hell because like they're like, "Hey, give us the key," and he's like, "I've got it right here," and he pulls down like a laser
Yeah.
beam or something. He's blasting these guys. It was
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was
It's like
like
he just
it's like when you're a kid and somebody says, "Hey, can I borrow $1?" and you're like, "Yeah," and you put your hand in your pocket, you pull it out, and you shoot the bird. That's basically what he did. He
yeah.
pulled like a seventh grade move on these guys, on all of them.
Yeah.
Like he's awesome. I'm a
Like
fan.
he's like walking around this junk pile's like, "Oh, got this 10 and a quarter wrench somewhere," and he just oh, he's like looking around these junk piles in his little his office. I don't know where this is. Yeah, that's where they show up.
So speaking of junk piles, though, I got another targeted ad here for windshields. I got a Safe Light ad right here. This is good.
Oh God, there was a there was a safe light van in town recently. I got a picture of it somewhere, but it was like the side of the van had that's a nice like a windshield you got there. Let us know if something happens to it. Like, are you threatening me?
I was hoping you were going to tell me that it was driving around and its windshield was cracked. I was really into the concept of that going on, but
That would have been beautiful. I like.
uh, so the Autobot team for this missions for this one is they left all the 280Zs back on Earth and they brought all the minivans, and I can't think of many worse downgrades than maybe
At least
Robotech going from the Macross saga to the to Southern Cross is maybe the only other downgrade I can think of. But speaking of Robotech Macross saga, we get these cool Centurion droids. These guys are cool, and they look a lot like something that would have been in the Zentradi army in Robotech the
they
Macross
do.
saga.
They look like they kind of look like the females in Trotty armor. What were those
Yes.
called?
It's called the actual Zentradi term for those is Quaidlin Rao.
Thank you.
No, I did not have to look that up. And no, we did not rehearse this and script it. I generally know all those dumb names. That's why I can't pass college algebra because I can't remember formulas, but I can remember the name of female power armor.
Yeah, like my last term of school here, I had to drop sampling class because I couldn't do stats anymore because I knew too much Transformer stuff and it pushes out all the useful stuff out of my brain. So here
Well,
we
we're
go.
very old, Evan, and
That's true too. That's true too.
the brain plasticity is going away.
I
But
was the oldest person in the class. It was kind of
I'm
impressive.
sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
people are like, "You're all how old?" Yeah, yeah, thanks.
Mhm. Yeah.
God,
Blaster decides that they're wandering around on Cybertron here, and Blaster declares them to be El Losto, like that. That was cool.
at least Blaster's there. He's not a minivan. He's all right.
Well,
Oh,
Blaster, yeah, Blaster.
yeah,
I'm cool with Blaster.
yeah, yeah.
They find the Decepticons find Vector Sigma though, and he's real boring looking. On the one hand,
He
okay,
looks.
on the one hand, he's very boring.
Uh-huh.
On the other hand, though, if I was a kid and I wanted to play like like I can't say, Mom, go get me a Vector Sigma. I can just use a golf ball. I can
Yeah,
use a golf ball and take a
Ray
highlighter
Bandit
and color it
Gold.
yellow, and I've got the thing now. I'm like, there he is. He's right there.
So yeah, you kind of pass over one thing I was going to bring up. Like, so when the Centurion drones are attacking the Decepticons, like automatic, like they're getting their butts kicked pretty hard. And like Megatron's like, oh yeah, this key fob is like a Bluetooth, and like he controls all the Centurion drones. Beep, beep.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh okay, well kneel to you. So
Yep.
yeah, he's like, all right, go beat up the Autobots. We'll be in here taking all your stuff. But yeah,
Dude,
man, Victor Sigma sounds mad.
he is, dude. They woke him up. This dude is mad. This dude is angry. And yeah, this is not cool. This is like when you wake your mom up and she'd been working like a double shift the night before.
I was here before Cybertron.
Mhm.
I know everything. And why'd you wake me up? Yeah, that's kind of that what it went like. And Megatron just like he doesn't even pull any punches. He's like, look, you made me, and I need you to give these guys personalities and make them so they hate the Autobots, just like I do. Can you do that?
He
Like,
doesn't even front with it. It's good.
yeah, Victor Six was like, yeah,
Um,
yeah, I can do it. Let me shock them all, get like tase all five of them and give them personalities. So yeah, I mean that's in and out of it. That's it. He
he
just
shoots him. Yeah, he shoots him with purple lightning and gives them
yeah,
personality.
I mean
That's
like
pretty
force lightning,
cool.
yeah.
There's a weird animation glitch here where the Decepticons are like they're like lined up and they go to walk, but then they just like randomly like appear on the screen and then walk. Like it was real it was real. I had to back it up a few times and watch it. It was
Yeah.
real kind of jarring there. So
And I
we
love
cut
it.
back to the
Uh-huh.
what's up?
Also,
Go ahead.
then the personalities when they get the personalities, they're like punk kids and like I'm talking like 80s punk show kids. They're like just a bunch of bunch of jerks.
Dude, so breakdown. Who are the first guys? I couldn't catch his name. The semi
Motormaster, Motormaster.
Motormaster. Okay, so yeah, he's here to obey. All right, but
Oh
the
yeah,
second guy is breakdown. He's like, I guess I want to obey
that's
too.
dead end. That's dead end.
Okay, but then drag strip though, dude, he's really into obeying.
Yeah,
He lives to
yeah.
obey. He's really into obeying. That was real funny. So we cut to the Autobots. They're having a big brawl with the Centurions, and this is pretty
Yeah.
cool because Optimus Prime is slamming these dudes into walls. They're totally they're Hulk Hogan no selling it.
Yeah.
They're real American and just coming back and slamming. No, 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 brother, that didn't work for me. So so they reactivate these drones,
Mhm.
the Cybertronian drones to fight the Centurions for them, which is a cool move because you get a bunch of
Yeah.
generic robots fighting a bunch of other generic robots, and I'm never not a fan of that.
Except these drone robots they activate are terrible.
They are terrible. One of them actually gets German suplexed so hard that his head falls off, and that was real cool. But then the way they just told him to like walk off the edge of this platform,
Yeah, they
and
lemming
it
them.
was like lemmings, and they just
Yeah.
all walked off the edge and all fell into a pile, and
Yeah,
that was how they
and
won.
all the female Zentradi warriors walked off also, and they
Yeah, just
all
walked off. Yep, yep,
yeah.
yep.
Or, I'm
Uh,
sorry, what is it again? The name of the female Zentradi soldiers?
Quaidlin Rao.
Quaidlin Rao. All the Quaidlin Rao jump off also.
You know the name of the male power armor?
No,
I'm afraid I'll look too nerdy if I say it.
really?
Uh,
What?
I'm gonna skip over it.
Wow.
Uh, Optimus Prime is real awestruck by Vector Sigma to the point where he can't even speak correctly. He calls him Vector Sigma.
Because he's
This
like,
was funny.
wow.
He's in awe of this floating golf ball. It was cool.
Yeah, and then he's like, hey, you know all those useless rockets that are in that room over there? Can we rebuild those like Earth jets?
And I was like, oh, I know where this is going. This is good. This
Yeah,
is gonna get cool. But I'm like, all right, I'm
yeah.
down. So the see at first when he said that at first, I was like, you want to fly back on those? You've already got Omega Supreme there. Like, why do you need more things to get back? But so back on Earth though, the Decepticons are back on Earth, and they're going to get the fuel, which I had forgotten about. I thought that
Oh
was
yeah,
just an
the whole
intro plot.
yeah. You
That
think
was
it's like a
cool.
throwaway plot point, but it's
Yeah.
not.
Motormaster's a very cool looking design though. The black
Yeah.
and purple is
Mhm.
extremely cool, and I very much like that. It's very 80s. That is an extremely 80s color scheme, but I really like it. I think it's very cool. I want like some shoes that color or something.
Man, oh, that character actually when they did one of the later shows, Transformers animated, it is very stylistic look to it. It's very I wouldn't say anime look, but it's a very stylized look to the entire show. But they had Motomaster in like a scene, and he looks just like Lemmy.
Oh yeah, oh
He
yeah.
does.
Okay,
I
that's
think I
pretty
showed you a
cool.
picture of like they're
I think
coming out with a
yeah.
figure.
Now that you say that, yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
familiar. I think you
dude,
did.
like that. Yeah, of course he's Lemmy. Of all the things to be Lemmy, that would be he'd be it. Yeah.
That was cool. And so
And they threw
they
like
have this kind of dust up at this military base, and one of the guys like flies through a building. That was cool.
they
And
don't it doesn't really fly through buildings. It's like they just like bounce like
yeah,
boomerang
it
over
was
here, flip over there. They're like
they're doing
parkouring as
stunts.
cars.
They're doing stunts. They're the stunticons.
They are, man. They had the best time doing it. And one of the guys in the military base is like, "Hey, someone doesn't have a driver. That must mean they're Autobots." Okay, at this point, you would think that people say like the purple symbol, that's a Decepticon. The red one's an Autobot. Okay, I can see the difference now. No, these guys are like, we work for the military. We obviously don't know anything. So those are Autobots. So yeah,
Obviously, yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, that's the
And that was
big
it.
the conclusion for
That
that
was,
first part of this episode.
when we get the big to be continued, which is
Dun,
like that's
dun,
a big when you're a
dun.
kid, that's a big
Yeah.
deal. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
that was it. And yeah.
Much better episode.
Man, this was a really good episode. I had
Yeah,
a this it flew by. I loved it. The last couple have been extremely painful, and
yes,
I have not
yes,
enjoyed them at all. But this has felt really good to get back to the roots with some cool some cool sci-fi stuff.
yeah,
We get Cybertron, we get a full complement of a team on both sides. You got the cool fight with you got both sides fighting against the Centurions. That was neat. Adult Brain had a lot of fun with this,
mhm.
and this was a really good way to end a very what was a very hectic day at work.
Yeah. I hear you there.
And yeah, it was a lot. I thought the lore was neat, like building into the creationism and all that of
Yeah,
of the Transformers is very cool. So I'm going to award this one for Zentradi Male Power Armors, aka Nostadjul Gur.
You did it! I'm so proud.
Kid Brain also had a very good time with this one. There was a lot to for a Kid Brain. There was a lot to digest. You had, dude, you had new Decepticons. You had all this new lore. You had, you had you had like this, this weirdo computer thing. You had some cool fights, and so Kid Brain's gonna actually bump it up a notch and say 4.5.
Oh,
Power
oh,
Wheels ridden by big goofy dads while they're grilling and drinking beer, which may or may not be me out of
I can totally see that.
where are you on this one?
Man, I love this. This is fun. I haven't watched this in a while. Actually brings in one of my favorite like teams, sub teams. And the one who's like, yeah, I guess I'll be part of your group or whatever. I'll fight with you. That's Dead End. Dead End's has one of my favorite write-ups. He's a nihilist. This is like this whole
It
group
sounds
is like,
exhausting.
huh? What's that?
That sounds exhausting.
Oh well, yeah. He's just like he's a total pessimist, not nihilist. These guys, the Senescons are almost like that show The Young Ones.
I love. I was
They
watching
are
it the
the
other
young
day. Actually,
ones.
I love the young ones.
There's like, oh God, not breakdown.
Neil.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm trying to think. I mean, really, Motormaster could be Neil. Or no, that was
No, Neil was the hippie.
yeah, Neil's hippie. Um, oh God, what was his name? The guy with the stars, the punk.
Vivian.
Vivian, thank you. I knew it was like that. Yeah, so like Motormaster or see, there's breakdown. Oh God, I'm trying to think of the last one, the red car. The like kind of I guess dark car with the red windows. Anyways, yeah, Vivian can easily be Motormaster, but these guys are like total young ones group, and I love it because they're so toxic and they're fun. But yeah, so Dead End is a nihilist. He's like his motto is like raw food for rust. Like okay, raw meal for worms kind of thing. I kind of dig
That's
it.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so you have this great group. You have just a like you said, it's like getting back to the roots, going back and like trying to still energy, like super fuel. I like that. It's just it feels so nice rather than trying to, I don't know, deal with a girl who a paraglide and that kind of junk. It gets back to the show, and I like that a lot. And of course, we know it's coming. I love the introduction of Vector Sigma because it or whatever has no patience for these guys. Like, yeah, I made you go 4 million years ago. Can you just go wait for? Let me get my coffee or something first. It is such a pissed off sound. I love it. Everything about this is great. Oh man, and I'm so glad you brought up the Alpha Trion, bringing down, like pulling the gun thing down.
That was very good. That was very cool.
It was
Yeah,
great. This is a lot of fun. It feels good
yeah.
again. And yeah, man, I'm easily gonna give this like 4.5. Oh, what should I do? Oh God, what are the Kellen, huh? Was it the female?
Quaidlin Rao.
Was that
The Quaidlin Rao?
Quaidlin Rao?
Oh,
I'm gonna give this four and a half.
power armor. Okay,
Quaidlin
whatever.
Rao owning the Maximilian Sterling in his blue Veritech out of 5.
That's a great fight. That's a great fight scene,
Oh
by the
yeah.
way. Even with the bad animation, it's still a very good. That's still a very good fight
There
scene.
are so many good things in that show, man. With Max and Miria, when they first meet and they have that fight. Oh yeah, with a red Quailin Raw suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, this is great. I'm so glad I finally got through that rut. I was like dreading it, but I was so glad it's over. And yeah, we're back. Let's do this. And next week, what's coming, so it'll be
Part
fun.
two.
Part two.
Part two.
David Wise, you brought us something good finally. I'm so glad.
Yeah,
He also
yeah.
brought us a girl up Power Glide, so he's not off the hook.
Yeah, they can't all be winners, man. Like,
yeah, throw
every
things
song on the
against the
album
wall,
isn't
see what
a
sticks.
banger.
I'm gonna do my best. Also, coming up here in September, there's a Joe Lanta con. Our friend of the show, Mike Hill, is gonna be up there. I'm gonna try to go up there and say hi.
I saw that on his page today. Yeah, that looked pretty cool. That would be a fun one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, y'all take it easy. Thanks for being here this week, and give us a like or a thumbs up or whatever you see that you can do, and tell your friends, tell your family, tell your mom about us. Y'all take it easy. Have a great week.
Roll out.
We're the Mises Guys is performed by Evan Johns and Ed Strickland. Research is performed by Evan Johns, Ed Strickland, and with special research done by Boo of the AxelonUnderground.net. All used images in the videos are property of Sunbow, Hasbro, Paramount, or Marvel. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in every week with us. We appreciate it.